Hi, you're watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in hot San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
Jim, and I have had the luxury of
Yes.
tasting and dissecting the new iteration of El Diamante del Cielo, also known as Cielo tequila, because we used to call that back in the old days. This is the new branding and the new updated version of this tequila. It really was weird because it kind of fell off the face of the earth. You didn't see it anymore. I think the last time I saw bottles of these was at a Costco years and years ago, and I thought the brand had died. And when I found these photos on Instagram and saw that they were coming back and being imported again by a company called R.S. Lippman, I said, "Can I get a few?" And they were really nice enough to make that happen. And so I am going to pour some in my handy dandy Glencairn.
Hey, we're 3 for 3 on going with the same glass.
There you go. That being said, I will tell you that this particular the foil label on the back has black on it or copper. It's kind of a two-sided label, so you can see through. It's kind of like that vodka look where you can see the bottle and you see I guess the inside of the label is in a color like copper.
You get the color in from the side, though. You get a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Now it is a bit darker. I would say substantially darker than the Reposado. And we flipped over that Reposado because that's outstanding stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
yes,
what do we know about the Anejo? What did they say that they're doing with it?
They are up to 4 years in small oak barrels.
Wow.
So they're taking everything pretty much to the max. The Repo went 364. They're taking it as long as they can take it.
Aged up to 4 years?
Yeah.
That's interesting because, anything over 3 years is considered anything over 3 years is considered an extra. Anejo.
Extra, yeah.
Wow, but they're not calling this extra. They're calling this an añejo. So they're blending.
They're blending. So in whiskey, where you have a blended whiskey, you have to have the youngest whiskey on the age statement. So up to 4 years means you've got a couple in the 3-year range, a couple in the maybe a little bit more range, but because they've got a few that are añejo, that's what they call it. I guess I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There are no real stipulations as to. I mean, after 3 years, an extra añejo, they don't have to tell you how long it's been rested. I mean, obviously, if they're being transparent, or if they use it as a selling point, they can say it's a 5-year, a 6-year, a 7-year, a 13-year, a 15-year. It's going to taste like anything but tequila. But this one apparently. Now the master distiller, and I'm sure it's the same guy because even though Stoli bought the distillery, much like Campari bought their distillery, the Espolón distillery, they kept on the master distiller / plant manager / ingeniero engineer, and I've met him. I've met Arturo Fuente, who was. I was telling Jim on one of our tastings that this bottle was one of the first ones to actually have a signature of a master distiller and make that known. And it was funny because we had never seen that. Those of us who'd had tequila, well, who's Arturo Fuente? Is he like the brand owner? We didn't know. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together until afterwards. And I said, "Oh wait, this is the master distiller. This is the plant manager, whom I've met." And this was years and years and years ago. So he was a very quiet guy, not much of a people person. He's a scientist. I mean, that's what but what was coming out of that distillery then was famous. I mean, they were famous for their ceramic bottles. Tonalá comes out of there. The ceramic square bottle. There are other ones that come out of there. Even ones like Doña Carlota, which you see every once in a while in Arizona. and also like Mexican Moonshine and Rooster Rojo come out of there. Rooster Rojo being a new one that you'll excuse me, my bread's ready. That's a new one that I think Stoli started making, and I've not been able to get samples of. So we know this is up to 4 years.
Up to 4 years. Blended.
Blended, we know that. I've heard people say that Arturo loves his legs and tears.
Look at the body on that.
Yeah. Boy, that's pretty too, man. That's some nice string of pearls.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all can see that on my on my lighting here. It's not the greatest, but these are not streaming. These are clinging. It looks it reacts like a whiskey. It really does.
It's got some full body on that thing. That is a.
Again, it's legal to have additives in tequila, and chances are the barrel itself might have a little bit of glycerin in it, apart from the natural glycerin that happens when you distill and blend. And I guess a lot of this too is just look at that. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that string of pearls. They're just now beginning to run into the liquid. They are maintaining. This is the longest I've seen a string of pearls before. Usually they sheet down and stream down much quicker.
Yeah. This could have a lot to do with the glycerin it's picking up off the barrels with that much time, but honestly, who knows?
Did you smell this yet?
No.
Take a whiff.
I'm going to.
Oh my God. Jim, this smells like an extra añejo, man. There's that dried fruit and there's some sweetness,
wow.
some baking spice. This is beautiful. Wow, there are extra añejos that don't have this kind of quality, this kind of character. And we're just talking the nose.
I'm going to call this Christmas tequila. This smells like a house full of baked treats.
Oh my God. Wow. That is exquisite. That's just beautiful for an añejo.
Yeah.
What kind of madness is this, man?
It's still delicate though. It is still not one aroma hitting you hard. It's still very nice and blended with you get the baking spice, you get a little pepper, you get some agave, you get some barrel notes in it.
Wow, this is really outstanding. Oh, we got to dive in, man. We got to dive in. Let's just go. Oh my gosh. Baking spices, really like a hot cinnamon peppery finish.
Yep.
Wow, this is not sweet or anything like that.
And that barrel flavor and the softness of the barrel is there. The mellowing effect of the barrel is there.
Right.
But it has now taken the agave from the Blanco side all the way through the Anejo, where now the agave is not florally sweet. It is subtly like a little bit of sugar in a loaf of bread sweet. Just to know it's there, but it's so smooth and mellow and wow.
This is really gorgeous. This is like a work of art, man. There aren't extra añejos that carry this much work in them. There's so much character going on in this. And I know that you and I talked about the Reposado being able to handle a really good cigar. I think this one would as well. I think your pairing would be way different with the Anejo than
you got to go with the Connecticut with this. You got to take it down a notch because you want to. I would say take it down a notch, and you want a milder, mellower cigar because you want everything about this to stand out against the cigar.
Right. Okay, I
because
agree.
This is really nice. Wow. This is really just.
Are you crying, Jim? You're crying, aren't you?
I'm getting a little misty over here. I gotta say, it's because I'm whiskey boy, and I love anything that makes you think about. This is not in the barrel as long as a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old Scotch.
Right.
This has picked up barrel characteristics that I would expect out of an old whiskey.
Yeah,
or an extra añejo where you start to lose a little of the agave, but it hasn't. You still get it, and you pick up some of the extra añejo quality without losing that agave in the barrel. And nothing about the baked spice is sweet to the point that it's not good. I mean, because sometimes I get some baked spice where you get it's like a cinnamon cookie.
Right. And you that's okay. That's all right because you're expecting that.
Right.
But this one is just so on point.
And again, same thing with the other two. Every flavor is distinguishable, but none of them do anything but complement the other one, and they kind of flow together. You'll pick up a little on the front of your palate, a little on the back of your palate. You get a nice long finish. And you think, well, that was planned. That was exactly how that was supposed to work.
Yeah,
that flavor it was supposed to taste like that on the front of my palate, taste like that on the back of my palate. It was supposed to finish like that. Another Fuentes Symphony.
There we go, right here, Brand of Promise nominee in that Añejo category. Now this is not a slouch. We purposely did not tell you this. Apparently, this is an award winner in several categories. It's won a double gold medal at WSWA. The silver has. Ultimate Spirits Challenge is 92 points. That's the Blanco. This Añejo, wine and
96 from the Beverage Tasting Institute.
Oh, yeah, BTI. BTI never fails. WSWA won a silver. I'm not sure about that. That's the Añejo. But Wine Enthusiast gave it 92 points. If these things mean anything to you, right? But the only thing that matters to us is whether it's a Brand of Promise nominee or not. And frankly,
I slap the same numbers on cigars, and sometimes there's no number, and the cigar is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But this is probably one of the best añejo expressions that I have ever tasted with you. And if
we've had a few,
when we've had a few. And I've also had the pleasure of having two phenomenal extra añejos with you, where this would stand up with them in that category.
Yep.
But in one way that those two lost that agave expression that the Blanco and the Reposado had into the extra añejo, where you really got almost a dessert style,
right?
Brandy or cognac style after dinner tequila, where the agave was just slightly there. That is not true here.
No, this is a nightcap tequila. If
yes.
This is a pairing tequila. This is a finish your day. It's very special. Like you said, it's a Christmas tequila. It's a really celebratory kind of thing. I'm shocked that there's so much character and that they decided to blend this with up to 4 years.
Yeah.
Because,
and maybe that was the idea. Let's get some of the younger stuff where the agave still shines through, and the older stuff where the characteristics have a little bit more barrel and baked spice. But honestly, that just subtle agave sweetness sticks, and it complements that peppery baking spice and that warmth at the back end. This is really phenomenal.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful. I'm enamored by
man, I gotta hide this now. I gotta stop doing that. I've got like 4 bottles where it's like, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Yeah, we got to wait till the end when we announce the brands of promise. This year we're so far ahead, and we have so many brands that I feel we're going to have the brands of promise of 2020 before the end of 2020. So we're just, again, that's our take on El Diamante del Cielo. You will find this probably in Nashville and hopefully throughout the United States, because this needs to come back. The last time I had it, like I said, it was at Costco in New Mexico, and it was. It's been a long time, and I'm so glad these guys picked it up, brought it back. I think they retooled it for their market, and you know what? If I were to make any kind of suggestion, now that we look for the signature of the master distiller, now that it's a thing, I think we should bring back his signature.
I think you should give him credit for it. Absolutely.
I know that he's still with the company. He's still with the plant. When Stoli bought the distillery, he's still there. And if I did anything, I would just another piece of tape right here with his signature on it, because this is outstanding. I'm so glad now that years later, I can appreciate the skill of this guy, because this is amazing. It's amazing stuff. I'm floored.
Yeah.
So that's our take on El Diamante del Cielo Anejo. Go get it. What do we know for pricing? Do we know anything on pricing on all three of those, just out of curiosity?
Well, and again, I'm in Ohio, so who knows? But when I go online, the Blanco's in the mid-40s, Repo in the early 50s, Anejo in the late 50s. So,
you know what? It's worth every penny.
I agree. I mean, they're selling Blancos for $65 in my state that I wouldn't touch. But this Anejo, for if it's $58 or $59, I would probably pick this up and put it next to a $60 or $75 Scotch and say, why don't you try both of these?
Yeah, I agree. They're beautifully done. It's a work of art. It really is. But go get it if you can find it. Go get it.
If you can't find it in Ohio, don't look here, because I'm not scared.
Right. Go on the website. R.S. Lippman is the importer. Thanks again to those folks for making this happen. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That young man is
Jim Johnston in Youngstown, Ohio.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the notification bell, hit that red button. And if you're downloading your podcast, please do that anywhere, including iTunes. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.